So hello and welcome to the second episode of the AquaPeople's podcast. Here, my guests and I discuss different aspects of swimming. My name is Kirill. I've been a swimmer for a while now and know quite a bit about it. Today's guest is my good friend and teammate, Ramzy Bishay. Ramzy, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm not bad myself. How you doing with how you staying in shape with the coronavirus?
Uh, Honestly, it's been a bit hard, motivation wise because of everything that's going on. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, missing the pool and
Yes.
everything. Being athletes at our level, we need to stay in shape one way or another. So I try to work out every day and get what I can out of it, and hopefully we'll be allowed back in the pool soon enough.
Hopefully. So I know you joined our club last September after leaving another local club.
Yeah.
Can you talk me through what happened, why you made that decision?
Sure. So basically, I was with another club that I won't name, and there was a lot of issues. It was mainly related to the coaching staff. Um, I wanted a coach that would support me. I wanted a coach that would push me to my limits, and I wanted a coach that believed in me as well. And that's not really what I got. I was really pushed aside at my other team, and I wasn't paid any attention to. So it was only based on self motivation that I improved. And the practice was written on the board, and I would just follow the practice, but no coaching, no. Help, no advice on anything that was going on in practice. So I really needed to change teams to get something more out of the coaching staff that was with me at the team I was at.
So would you say the coach was focused on himself or just not focused on anyone?
He basically, the way it worked there is the coach had a very specific group with which he focused with. He chose these swimmers he liked more, and he focused with them, and everyone else that wasn't in this bubble was not really focused on and was not paid any attention to. And I know that a lot of other swimmers felt the same way I did, and most of them either ended up quitting because at our age it gets hard to keep pushing through. A lot of us, you see it left and right. People stop swimming every year, and because of that, a lot of people just chose to quit, but I refused to because I'm really devoted to the sport and I really love it. So I decided I'll give it a shot at another team and hopefully it'll work out much better.
So you basically joined a club because the coach there was
You could say that,
un-
yeah,
badly suited for you.
exactly.
I can relate to you because I also left. I think 1 year before you came, I also left my club because the coach at the other club didn't motivate me in the right way. He
Yeah.
was pushing me to compete, even though I didn't need competition at the time, and he urged me to go to every practice, and I decided to also leave that club and join DSC.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think we can both agree DSC, the coaching there is, I could say, amazing, and I feel much better where I am now.
yes. So how important do you think the relationship was it was it the relationship you had with your coach or was it just the coach?
I'd say it was definitely a bit of both. So, as I said before, the coaching itself was not great. It was not what I wanted at all. But also, the coach there, he said it himself. He would tell us, "I'm not your friend. I'm just your coach." And to me, I feel like you need to know your coach personally, or the coach needs to know you personally to a certain extent, at least, so that you could evolve in the sport and evolve in the bond with your coach so that your coach can know what you need properly. like with our current coach, he knows us, each and every one of us, he knows us personally, and he knows everything we want and what our goals are, and he helps us with these goals. So I think that's very essential.
Right. So, how important do you think the relationship with your coach is?
I think it's definitely very, very important in order for you to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve.
You you think you could go? What if it's not as well as you want it? Well, you can. I think if the relationship isn't as good as you want it, it could go as far as you quitting the sport. I know an Olympic level athlete. I don't know him personally. I've heard a lot of stories about him. Yannick Agnel. He's the 200 free champ from 2012, and also on a podcast, he told a story about how his coach would overtrain him because, I mean, the coach also wants the gold medal from you.
Yeah.
So he overtrained him, and it led to this 200 free champ burning out, and he was never really able to swim as fast as he could.
Uh, Well, yeah, exactly. It sounds like what happened at my past team. Like we were a huge team. We were almost as big as DSC, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And this coach that I keep talking about, he wasn't always like this, but he became like this maybe around 4 or 5 years ago exactly. And since then, the amount of swimmers that drop uh, swimming at our age has been increasing at that team, and therefore the equivalent to the elite group that we're in at DSC over there has only, I think, 8 swimmers now.
That's impressive in a bad way.
Yeah,
Do you like it better now?
much better. I feel like our coach right now is really devoted not only to making us succeed, but he wants to make us succeed in the way we want to succeed, meaning he's pushing us to achieve our goals and not his. So I feel like it's really important and it's really good.
Well, he does make you achieve what you want, but he's also been vocal about focusing on DSC as a whole,
Yeah.
leading the team as one unit, not just a bunch of athletes.
Well, I mean, swimming, yes, is an individual sport, but we are representing a club, especially at our age, right? So you have to understand what he means by it. And for sure, it makes a lot of sense. And I 100% agree with everything he's said about it.
Well, we're not only representing a team, but we're also training with that team. I mean, without DSC, without the elite group, it wouldn't be possible. I In December I had to train on my own because the the group sports were canceled, and it's way harder. Even when
Yeah,
you're two, it becomes so much easier because you have someone next to you.
I agree. And I think we had talked about it previously. And I agree. I was telling you the same thing. It's just very hard, and you can't even make intervals that you would find easy in a regular
Right,
practice. So it's definitely different, and you need a team behind you to support you and to push you.
right. So going back to the coach aspect, what do you think a coach should be like? A good coach. What do you think?
I feel like just like the coach we have right now, I feel like he represents what a good coach should be like. He's strict, but to a certain extent, he's nice to everyone. He cares about everyone. He has conversations with everyone. Um, and not only that, but outside of swimming, he makes sure outside your outside life is good, and he wants to follow up with you, and he wants to make sure everything is going well for you, and he will help you if there is any issues in or outside of swimming. which I find is very important.
I agree. I think most important aspect is the communication with your coach.
Yeah,
Because if you don't talk to him, he'll just keep doing what he does without, even if you don't like it, because he won't know.
yeah, he's gonna keep thinking it's the right way, and he's just gonna keep pushing it that way, and you're probably not gonna like it, and nothing's gonna happen about it. You're 100% right.
So just like any relationship, I think you should talk to your coach about whether you don't like the way you're training, whether something's going on,
Yeah,
and uh, and for the coach, I think it's important not to adapt to everything the swimmer says. If it's something that, for example, you can't make the pace times and you just ask him to make the workouts easier, that's not going to work.
you're 100% right. We're in a group called Elite. We're in the most competitive group there is at DSC. So at a certain point, we're the ones who need to push, not the coach that needs to bring it down to our level. It's
Right.
our job to push through it and to get to this level of competitiveness, I guess you could say it this way. So yeah, you're 100% right about this.
And another thing, I think your coach should be a guide. You know, he
Yes,
helps you identify your weaknesses, your strengths, and
yeah,
then from that, you both of you choose what event is best suited for you, and then you make a training plan. That's how I think, in a perfect world, the coaching should go. The coaching and the training.
I agree. And something I forgot to mention, back in my old team, there was no event that was dedicated to you. You had no event. You were forced to swim everything. You wouldn't even pick your events before meets. The coach wouldn't talk to you about it. You would find out when the sheets were out for the events for the meet. That's when you found out what you were swimming. Otherwise, you had no clue and you had no decision. You were in no way taking part of that decision.
I can relate, but in a different way, because the club I left, they would train everyone for one event, which was the 200 freestyle. I think the sets were based on that, and the 200 free and the 200 fly, I think.
Wow.
And for up until you were one of the best swimmers in the club, and it's a big club, it's hard to be one of the best. Up until then, you would only train for those two events, not regarding what your strengths are.
Wow. Okay. So everyone was built to become flyer or freestyler.
A 200 freestyler, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And you could see it at meets in the 200 freestyle. The final is always packed with Côte Saint-Luc swimmers.
Really? All right. That's I've never heard of that, but yeah, that's again, as you said, impressive, but not in a good way.
um, have we talked about the coach being a role model?
Yes, we you mentioned it earlier. I don't know if you want to go over it a bit more in depth. Go for it.
I think a coach as a role model, he should show up at every practice, and that's what they do. And he should. I mean, you see it with our current coach. he is dynamic on deck and he puts the effort in.
Yeah, and not only that, he often tells us if you guys want to show up to practice, but you don't have the means to get there, I'll come get you before practice and I'll bring you guys. So he's definitely 100% devoted, and yeah, he's an excellent role model because he shows us how to be determined and how to be devoted to our sport. And that's definitely not what we had on our past team. With our old coach, it was he wouldn't even show up to some practices if for no reason. We never knew why he wasn't there, but it happened once every 2 weeks at least.
Not very good. How close do you think you should be with your coach?
That's a good question. I mean, of course, there has to be a certain level of professionalism, right? So it can't be too close, but at the same time, your coach needs to know what you want to achieve, and he needs to know if there's something that's bothering you that's affecting your sport, if even if it's not directly related to the sport itself, he should know about it. Like for example, I was having a hard time with choosing what CJIP to go to next year, um, because of swimming. Because obviously, I don't want to reduce my hours of swimming because I think it's very important. So I talked with our coach and I asked him what his opinion on it was, and he talked me through it and he actually helped me make a decision, and I'm very happy about it now. So I feel like it's very important for your coach to be able to help you with the problems that might affect your sport.
But at the same time, you shouldn't be getting too private with each other. I know I know a swimmer who got really private with his coach in the way that he was driving him every day to practice. They were seeing each other every day, and the swimmer just lost interest because the coach was putting his full attention on him, and I don't think that swimmer benefited from it.
Yeah, you're 100% right. If it's not related to swimming, I feel like there's no need for the coach to be involved in it in any way. It's just there's no reason for it to be happening. So
But at
if
the
it
same time, you should have some moments with your coach that are not related to swimming, like a walk in a park. I think once ev- once in a while it's beneficial.
yeah, it's good for you to bond with your coach, definitely. But in regards to anything serious going on, I feel like if it's not related to swimming, the coach, uh, there's a lot of other people in your life you can talk to about your issues, and your coach is there for your sport, so you should stay with that. So definitely, I agree with you as to the walks in the park or whatever. It's very good for a swimmer to be able to bond with his coach, because then uh, in I don't know how to say it in English, mais le lien between the swimmer and the coach becomes much better, and it's very important.
Have you ever had a coach coming close to a father figure?
Sadly, no. The team I was with before, um, they had very impersonal coaches. They did not care about anything that wasn't directly related to swimming. Like once I had a really hard time with something because I've told you about it. I had seizures, right? So
Right.
caused a lot of disadvantages to me regarding to swimming. I almost lost a whole season where I wasn't training. I would miss like so many practices because of it. Um, and I wanted to talk to my coach about it because I felt like I was never going to get back to the level I was supposed to be. And he just didn't care. He's like, you'll figure your stuff out and you'll get back or you won't. It's up to you. That's what he said to me word by word. So honestly, I've never had anyone that I could say is a father figure. I've had coaches, but that's pretty much it. I've been with Chuck for what, 5 months now.
Right.
and I've only seen him for the first 2 months of training because then they shut down the
Yeah.
facility. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I mean, since you said the name of our coach,
Oh yeah,
because
sorry.
Chuck was a father figure for the first year. For the first a year and a half, he was a major father figure because after I left the previous club, I got very into swimming. It was the first time in my life I had practice every day, and I just got caught up in it. And I mean, Chuck was always there at practice, and in the first 2 months, in the shortest distance in swimming, the 50 free, I dropped 3 seconds.
Wow, that's
I went
crazy.
from a 29 to a 26. Not that impressive, but
Well, still
still 3 seconds in a 50 in 2 months.
very.
I think, and I think Chuck played a major role in that
Yeah.
because even the first day I arrived, I thought I was the best at DSC because the club records were very slow, but I wasn't. There were many other guys faster than me, and so I was intimidated first by the swimmers, but then there was Chuck. I was a bit intimidated by him, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of turned. I I don't know how to explain it, but it that kind of turned into a father figure, and it definitely helped me.
Yeah. And I 100% understand what you mean, and I can very clearly visualize what you mean because, I haven't been there for a lot of time, but, our coach has always pushed us to be close with each other, to cheer each other on. If someone has a hard time, we always end up clapping for the person who had a hard time. I've remembered multiple times if we were doing like 5 times 100 sprint, and I was like, after the fourth one, I was almost dying. You would often come up and talk to me and tell me like, you got this, you have one more. And at DDO, my old team, that's not something that was there at all. But here it was just like you had more of a family vibe that was going on, and for that reason, I very much understand what you're saying.
Yeah, Chuck does do a very good job with creating a family atmosphere in the team.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so we've established, I think, that the relationship with the coach is very important,
Yeah.
and I don't see anything that we haven't covered.
All right.
So thank you very much for coming, Ramsey.
Thank you for inviting me.
I enjoyed it very well.
Me too.
Bye, man.